Imagine, just for a second, a battlefield where the very fabric of existence is hanging by a thread. I want you to literally picture realities collapsing in on themselves, skies tearing wide open to reveal a bleeding cosmos, and entire timelines just folding up. We are definitely not talking about your standard superhero brawl in a city street here, or even a planetary war. I want to set the stage for a conflict of such an unimaginable, multiversal scale that it's almost hard to wrap your head around. I'm talking about a scenario where a single solitary swing of a weapon can completely shatter the space-time continuum. A scenario where just a passing thought can permanently rewrite the history of the universe. We're looking at entities today whose power, frankly, does not recognize any normal boundaries, any rules, or any limits whatsoever. This is a clash that completely transcends physical strength. It crosses over into the terrifying absolute realm of pure cosmic authority. Okay, let's dive into this, because the stakes we're dealing with in this breakdown are truly staggering. On one side of the ring, we have Rune King Thor. This is a self-made god of reality who literally broke the endless, agonizing cosmic cycles of his own people just to achieve absolute enlightenment. And on the exact opposite side stands God Emperor Doom. Think about Victor Von Doom for a second. This is a mortal man whose brain processes information faster and more flawlessly than a supercomputer. A guy who brilliantly merges Tony Stark-level technology with supreme, world-bending mystical arts. And he literally stole the power of the most supreme beings in existence just to crown himself the ruler of absolutely everything. This is a massive, fundamental clash of ideologies. It's earned divinity going head-to-head against stolen omnipotence. And it really forces us to ask, what exactly happens when a god who intrinsically understands the universe meets a man who violently forces the entire universe to understand him? So let's kick things off with part 1, Thor and his path of sacrifice. To truly grasp the sheer magnitude of this matchup, we really need to take a slow, methodical, deep dive into how Thor actually ascended to this level. And I want to make it incredibly clear right off the bat. This is absolutely not the standard cinematic version of Thor you might be used to seeing. No, this is a being of pure, unfathomable cosmic weight. Thor eventually realized that simply swinging a magic hammer was never ever going to be enough to save his people from the apocalyptic repeating cycle of Ragnarok. He had to evolve way beyond just being a superhero. So let's see how this builds. First, he absorbed the Odin Force, basically taking on the massive, cumulative, magical, and cosmic energy of his father. But he didn't stop there. He actively sought out the forbidden magic of the ancient runes. And to gain this ultimate reality-bending knowledge, he had to make an excruciatingly agonizing sacrifice. He physically gave up both of his eyes. Now, let me explain why this is absolutely crucial. Physical sight essentially tethers you to the mortal world, right? It actually blinds you to the deeper underlying mechanics of the universe. By sacrificing his mortal eyes, Thor ripped that veil away, and in return, he gained true cosmic truth. He completely shattered the predestined cycle of Ragnarok, and he stepped entirely out of the shadows of both Odin and Loki. It honestly genuinely fills me with awe to even explain this state of being. By sacrificing his physical connection to the mortal world, Thor elevated himself into a literal self-made god of reality. He reached a state of existence where he didn't just play by the rules of the cosmos anymore. He fully understood the deepest underlying mechanics of existence, and more importantly, he learned exactly how to break them. Let me try to give you a sense of this scale. In this Rune King state, Thor is so unbelievably powerful that he can just erase a dying star or rewrite a catastrophic historical event simply by willing it to happen. A single fleeting thought from his mind has the raw capability to alter an entire timeline. It's wild. He completely transcended every known god of his pantheon, reaching a tier where his will alone dictates the universal flow. That brings us to part 2, Doom, the ultimate usurper. Now, we absolutely have to shift our focus to his opponent, Victor Von Doom, famously known as the man who challenged gods. Look, Doom has always been an unparalleled super genius with this unyielding, obsessive drive for ultimate power. He firmly, fundamentally believes that the universe is broken and that his intellect, and only his intellect, is capable of fixing it. To understand Doom at his absolute peak, we have to talk about the Beyonders. These are extra-dimensional entities from completely outside our multiverse, beings of such incomprehensible, ridiculous power that they treat entire realities like disposable petri dishes. So when the multiverse was literally collapsing during a series of cosmic incursions, completely facing total, absolute annihilation, Doom didn't just manage to survive, he manipulated the entire system. He actively, deliberately stole the unfathomable power of these Beyonders. With reality completely shattered into billions of fragments, Doom took that stolen omnipotence and hand-stitched the remnants of existence together to forge a brand new singular reality. He called it Battleworld. And there, he wasn't just a king or a ruler. He was a literal god, worshipped absolutely and unquestionably by every single surviving soul. And this brings us to a really fascinating thematic contrast between the two. While Thor earned his supreme power through grueling personal sacrifice and this deep pursuit of ancient wisdom, Doom took a vastly, vastly different path. Doom is the ultimate manipulator, who essentially took godhood by absolute brute force. He basically hijacked the throne of creation. And we really cannot forget the sheer terrifying breadth of his underlying mortal skills either. I mean, before he even touched a drop of cosmic energy, he was already a master of hyper-advanced science and a master sorcerer, wielding magic that easily rivals and honestly often surpasses Doctor Strange. He represents the absolute terrifying pinnacle of human ambition. He perfectly weaponizes his supreme magic and his unparalleled scientific genius to steer the infinite cosmic power he violently claimed for himself. Moving right along to part 3, reality warping and cosmic power. Now, what's really interesting here is that we need to carefully analyze what actually happens when these two impossible, unstoppable forces collide. Because we are setting up a clash that goes way, way beyond physical punches and energy blasts. This is a slow burn, reality-bending war where the laws of physics are basically just polite suggestions. Let me break down a core component of Rune King Thor's omniscience. His vision is now permanently divided into 3 distinct planes. Because of his profound sacrifice to the runes, Thor is literally no longer bound by linear time. He has the terrifying ability to simultaneously see the past, the present, and the future. They all unfold before him all at once, in a singular, eternal moment. Just imagine trying to fight an opponent in real time who already knows every single intricate move you're going to make. Someone who knows every fallback plan you formulated in your head and knows the exact outcome of the battle before you even throw your very first strike. It makes him virtually impossible to outmaneuver in any kind of spontaneous combat. And you know, it's not just cosmic awareness that Thor has. It is sheer, unrivaled, raw physical output. I want to dive really deep into the ultimate energy that Rune King Thor wields. We are talking about a being with the unquestionable, proven capability to physically destroy celestials. Now, let me paint a picture of what a celestial actually is, just to put that into perspective. In the grand cosmic hierarchy, they are these ancient, massive, armor-clad space gods that absolutely dwarf entire planets. They're the beings who literally plant the seeds of life across the universe and judge the worthiness of entire galaxies. For Thor to possess the raw, unadulterated might to physically tear them apart, that puts his destructive output on a level that is almost incomprehensible to the human mind. He possesses an ultimate, divine energy that allows him to rip apart the strongest, foundational beings in the universe with terrifying, effortless ease. But we must immediately counter Thor's might with Doom's stolen omnipotence. God Emperor Doom possesses reality manipulation on an absolute, foundational degree. Because he holds the hijacked, immense energy of the Beyonders, Doom possesses literal multiversal authorship. Think about that. If Thor can destroy reality with ultimate energy, Doom can simply erase the very concept of a person from the timeline entirely with just a passing thought. He can edit the fabric of existence exactly like a writer editing a script on a page. He commands the raw foundational energy of existence itself, and he can effortlessly derive, shape, or completely delete entire realities to fit his exact, meticulously calculated desires. It's just staggering power. Let's move into part 4, the flaws of godhood, where we examine their weaknesses. Because look, no matter how powerful a being becomes, there are always cracks in the armor, right? Always. To accurately judge who would actually win this titanic multiversal battle, we can't just look at their explosive peak feats. We have to rigorously, honestly examine their vulnerabilities. So let's look at Thor's limitations first. Rune King Thor's immense power is deeply, fundamentally tied to the concepts of stability and sacrifice. Because he essentially became one with the universe to achieve his power, his ascension relies heavily on maintaining cosmic stability, and this is a massive limitation for him in a fight. He is strictly bound by it, because disrupting the universe heavily is akin to literally tearing his own flesh. His power is a permanent part of him now, but it is deeply tethered to the natural cosmic order he represents, which totally restricts him from acting erratically or purely out of chaotic malice or just destroying things for the fun of it. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the psychology of Victor Von Doom. Because honestly, his fatal flaw is his immense, unshakable ego. It is a massive, terrifying vulnerability. God Emperor Doom possesses absolute, infinite, multiversal power, yes, but he still retains the highly flawed, totally human mind of Victor Von Doom. He is essentially a mortal man piloting an infinite god machine. So the crucial point is, his greatest enemy is and always has been his own absolute certainty that he cannot fail. He trusts his own brain so deeply that his arrogance creates massive blind spots, which almost always leads to self-sabotage. Because he inherently believes literally no one can outsmart him, if he gets caught in a sudden, uncalculated confrontation without his meticulous preparation, well, he becomes highly vulnerable. Doom relies completely on prep time to fully weaponize his intellect. Without it, his mortal hubris can completely unravel his divine stolen power. Which brings us to part 5, the ultimate multiversal verdict. We have finally arrived at the climax of our deep dive today. We have to meticulously weigh Thor's pure earned divine authority against Doom's staggering, stolen omnipotence at their absolute peak forms. And to really synthesize the thematic core of this battle, we have to look at the fundamental difference in their divinity. Thor is a pure being. He is a permanent, natural master of his divine force. He wove himself into the very fabric of reality through agonizing sacrifice. He truly deserves his godhood. Doom, conversely, is the ultimate manipulator. His power is absolute for sure, but it is something he violently, forcefully took. He wields it with unmatched genius, absolutely, but at the end of the day, he's still just a mortal intellect furiously trying to perfectly steer an infinite, stolen machine. One actually is the power. The other just wields the power. And this brilliantly illustrates the final answer. If this clash happens with absolutely zero warning, just a spontaneous, explosive eruption of divine combat in the middle of nowhere, Rune King Thor shatters Doom. Period. Thor's raw power, his trifold omniscience across time, and his permanent inherent mastery of the cosmic forces would completely, overwhelmingly crush Doom in a direct, unprepared clash of pure strength. However, I must introduce the ultimate caveat here. Victor Von Doom is the grand architect of victory. If the situation allows for any kind of planning, Doom's preparation can surprise, outmaneuver, and systematically dismantle absolutely anyone. His ability to weave supreme magic, hyper-advanced science, and stolen cosmic power into a flawless, perfect trap is just unparalleled in fiction. Which brings me to a final, pretty provocative thought that I really want you to sit with long after we finish this explainer. We've clearly established that Rune King Thor takes the crown in a spontaneous surprise battle of pure divine might. But considering Victor Von Doom's unparalleled genius, his complete, absolute mastery of both magic and science, and his sheer terrifying willpower to usurp the cosmos itself, if Doom had infinite time to meticulously prepare, could any pure god, no matter how powerful or enlightened they are, truly defeat the absolute limits of human intellect? It is a haunting question about the ultimate war between raw divine authority and infinite human ambition. Think about that.